Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
MNC Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302-551-917 or 0302-551-918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers, and today we have an exciting book for our monologue. We're going to be looking at strategic marketing of higher education in Africa. I need to first of all give plaudits to the conceiver of the idea, my friend Professor Emmanuel Mogaji, who is now at the University of Kiel in the United Kingdom, and he came up with the idea of writing around marketing and marketization of higher education matters in Africa. And his thesis was very simple, that Western theories don't quite apply to issues happening in the global South. That universities were evolving at a very interesting pace in Africa, and that there was a need to engage on issues around customer centricity, student management, student experience, marketing, branding, and all the other issues that make for a very good university experience. So we conceived the idea of doing work around marketing higher education. Now, when we finished that conceiving, we were able to finally turn out 3 different books. So this is one of a trilogy that looks at strategic marketing issues from a higher education context in Africa. So for this book, it was published as part of the Roots-led series in marketing. So we did it a couple of years ago, and what we wrote as an intro to the book is that the book explores higher education marketing themes along the lines of understanding higher education markets, university branding, international marketing strategies, digital marketing, and then student choice making. So we hypothesize in the book that because of the rapidly changing nature of higher education, not just in Africa, but across the world, I'm sure if you are watching, you are looking and hearing about the famous fight between Donald Trump and Harvard University, where the president of the US is saying that you can't admit any more international students. Yesterday, I understand a certain judge in the US said that idea has been overturned, and they are still in court looking at the pros and cons of having to ban Harvard from admitting international students. But from an African perspective, we need to understand that there's global competition for student enrollment. So universities are having to compete within their home markets, as well as in the international markets. And as government funding for public universities keep dwindling, there's pressure for universities to seek additional income by increasing their student enrollment. Now, in Africa, sometimes difference between what an international student pays and what a local student pays might be 15 or 20 times in terms of the ratios. So you can have a student, a local student maybe pay $500 for a spot in an undergrad or a postgraduate program, and an international student maybe pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 US. So international students totally matter for the university ecosystem in Africa. And apart from what you get from student enrollment, you also get the cross-cultural fertilization, which is totally crucial for creating well-rounded graduates nowadays. So what this book tries to do is that it takes a composite view of strategic marketing and brand communication issues when it comes to higher education institutions in Africa. So we hypothesize again that you need to understand critical university stakeholders and develop strategies on how to best engage them. So we highlight in the edited volume the unique characteristics, nature, and challenges of African universities, and then we explore what we call marketization strategies of African universities with a certain focus on brand management as well. So what this book does is that it gives you significant theoretical and practical implications for the way marketing should be carried out in African higher education context. So international recruiters, international practitioners also aiming to market what they have to Africa would also find this book very, very interesting. So what do we do in the book? In chapter 1, we do an intro. So we do an intro to the edited collection and tell you who has contributed to the book. In chapter 2, we address the issue of marketization in African universities in an era of decolonization, continuities and discontinuities. So we look at, if you take the whole phenomenon of decolonization, what does it mean in terms of what we should continue and what we need to start from an African higher education context. Then in chapter 3, we look at an integrative model for marketing higher education in Africa, and we look at the issue of branding beyond survival for posterity. In chapter 4, we look at digital marketing. We look at the challenges, pros and cons from a higher education marketing perspective in Africa. In chapter 5, we look at exploring the harmful effect of informational dissonance on student recruitment, and we take it from a Moroccan case study perspective. Then in chapter 6, we look at higher education marketing communications in a digital era. In chapter 7, we look at social media for African university strategic communication. In chapter 8, we look at social media again, but this time we zoom in on Nigerian universities and how they are using Facebook for their marketing activities. In chapter 9, we look at digital marketing communications for private universities in southwestern Nigeria. In chapter 10, we address the issue of university reputation management. In chapter 11, we look at the issue of corporate visual identities, and then we analyze it from a multiple African university perspective. In chapter 12, we look at how we can leverage university value through branding. Then in chapter 13, we wrap it all up by looking at what it means to move from research to practice in respect to marketing higher education in Africa. So, what did we achieve with the book? We argue that there is a need to understand higher education market in Africa better. Because the continent is vast and is dynamic, we are saying that there are different higher education systems in different countries, so we need to theoretically examine what will work from a West African perspective, from a North African perspective, from a Southern African perspective. And we also argue that universities need to be aware of what their markets are needing. They need to understand things like competitor profiling and how it matters for university survival. They need to understand issues around student customer management from a local student perspective and from an international student perspective. Universities also need to understand external stakeholders like university associations, like governing bodies, like parents, like government institutions, because all these stakeholders affect university operations. Then we also shed light on the fact that student decision-making processes need to be better understood so you can develop better marketing campaigns to do student recruitment. So we look at several empirical works on these studies and look at things like, what does parental influence bring to the table when it comes to student recruitment? What does religious affiliation bring to the table? What does having multiple branch networks bring to the table? What does universities in foreign university affiliation and a local one as well? And then in Africa as well, there are a lot of international university brands that are operating on the continent as well. Then we shed better light on digital marketing and social media activities. We try to answer questions like, are African students engaging with their universities on social media, or do they still prefer traditional media? And if it's a mix, what is the mix ratio? We are looking at things like, how are information search and decision-making processes looking like from a student perspective? Look, whilst universities have websites and social media, it is essential to choose issues around content creation strategies. How is it working from a university marketing perspective? You see, universities in Africa need to make an effort to evaluate their marketing strategies and recognize what they need to do to build long-term brands beyond mere survival. They need to understand competition issues and make an effort to stand out through unique brand management and marketing strategies. They need to be intentional about building international collaborative networks, need to be intentional about managing a reputation, need to be in the universities, affect mind, and even understand issues around revitalization strategies when a product wants to decline. Those things are important. Universities need to understand pricing matters. How do we price a university product? Do we price at par? Do we price at premium? What does it mean to introduce an executive education program? Why should an executive MBA cost $50,000 instead of $5,000? So issues around value-based pricing, it's important for university managers. Issues around marketing communications. How do we communicate online, offline? What do we do with PR? What do we do with sponsorships? What do we do with advertising? Should advertising be through banner adverts on My Joy Online or CTFM Online? You need to know, because there's a science behind the choice of marketing communication messages and the choice of marketing communication platforms. So you need to understand how the promotion issues work. Pricing also matters. How do we distribute university products? What is the quality of your online and distance education offering? Those things matter. Then people also matter, because sometimes you call a university in Africa and some joker has picked up the phone. They mess up the whole university brand in 2 seconds. Processes matter, fiscal evidence matters. To wrap up, therefore, universities that want to do well and excel need to understand marketing, branding, and customer experience in new ways, because in an AI era, the old systems don't work anymore. We need new thinking to take the universities forward and make them competitive on an increasingly globalized stage. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with more of Titans and Trailblazers. Thank you for being here.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. With MNC Properties, property sales, rentals, and management is a walk in the park. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 to 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We offer flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs, plus litigation-free lands in vibrant and upscale communities that presents the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 0302 551 917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
Welcome back. Today I have a guy I totally love. You know, I met him recently in an interview, and when he left, we were like, oh wow! The guy was totally brilliant. And I'm a very difficult interviewer. Hey, that's what, if you can run, I remember one guy saw me and he ran away. He's a big man. I saw him through the window. He said I was going to the washroom. He didn't come back again because he saw me. He didn't show up again. But my friend here didn't just show up. He gave a brilliant interview. And for the first time in the history of Titans, I'll read a profile he sent me to you before I tell you who he is. This man is a marketing leader and a business strategist who has worked on some of West Africa's most familiar consumer good brands. And I'll tell him something later. I did some research on some of the things he does. I'll tell him later. He's a strong voice on AI in marketing and the creator of Get Ahead AI training for marketers and business professionals. He's recognized by LinkedIn as a top voice in marketing and business management. He's currently the marketing manager West Africa at Fanmuk Danone and leads the introduction of Danone brands across the sub-region. He works and oversees countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin. I'll leave him to tell us more about himself. But Eric Kuma, please, you're welcome to Titans and Trailblazers.
Thank you, Prof.
Total honor to have you, sir.
Prof.
Absolutely,
Prof,
sir.
you are the one.
Very good
Ask
to have
me
you,
why.
Please.
Prof, you are the one. Ask me why.
Please tell us why I am the one.
Prof, you see, a lot of academics and researchers speak about marketing,
Yes,
but when they talk, they make it sound so intellectual and very far away.
Yes,
but when this my prof breaks down marketing,
yes,
you will think he did an internship in Medina Market.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When this my boss breaks down marketing,
Yes,
you will think he runs night shift in Malata Market.
You see, oh.
See, and let me tell you what even killed me.
Go ahead.
When you started talking about customer service or customer experience, a lot of people don't even know that marketing is broad enough
Absolutely.
to even encompass
Absolutely.
Customer experience.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when you started talking about it, I was like, wow,
Absolutely.
this is what people need to hear.
That is it.
Because at the end of the day,
Yes.
brands go out and make promises.
That is it.
Brands tell consumers, I'll do this for you, I'll do this for you, I am this, I am that.
Absolutely.
So finally, when the consumer walks into the building,
Absolutely.
who do they meet?
Absolutely.
An underpaid,
Absolutely.
demotivated,
Overworked,
stressed, demoralized,
ill-equipped.
poorly equipped person to represent the brand. It's like destroying every single thing the brand has built.
Absolutely.
And you are the only one I have seen
Absolutely.
who has broken it down in a way that people will understand.
Thank you, sir.
I respect you so much, boss,
Thank
and
you,
I
sir.
thank you for
Thank
giving
you,
me
sir.
this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to have you, sir. So please, since you respect me so much, tell us where you come from, where you were born, and why you even chose this marketing direction. Because I remember when I was in school, they say if you do marketing, you go and sell tomatoes. So I remember the most fashionable thing to do was accounting or finance. But I think this is an excellent route to run. So tell us who you are, where you've come from, and how you got here.
Wow. I have an interesting family background.
Okay.
Yeah, before I was born, my parents were actually living in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so...
Oh, wow.
Yes. When it was time for me to be born, my mom came to Kpando, where her family was. She had the support, and then I was born there, lived, my first year or two in Kpando. Oh. Then we moved to Nigeria. Okay. So I started over there.
Were you in Lagos proper?
Not in Lagos. Still in Oyo State, but not in Lagos,
right.
yeah. And so I started, over there, went to school, mingled with the people. It was a really good upbringing. It was a simple home and seriousness. Our parents were very interested in academic affairs, in general upbringing. And when you grow old, you begin to understand the sacrifice that your parents really put in to get you to the level where you've got to. At the time you're a child, you probably do not understand it, but as time goes by, you get to appreciate this. So that kind of upbringing set me up.
So do you remember the name of your primary school?
Ifelodu Nursery and Primary School.
That's a long name. And they taught you well.
They did.
Okay.
They did. And it was a really good, experience. And that kind of upbringing gave me a number of things. One of it was it made my view of the world broad. So I view the world from a place of opportunity. Okay. Also, it allows you to be able to go anywhere and fit in, because you learned how to fit in at an early stage. So these themes have been there, they've helped me along the way to, where we are. So that was the upbringing.
So primary school was also Nigeria?
Yes.
What about secondary school?
So secondary school, I attended Bishop Herman in
really?
Ghana. Yes.
Biheko?
Biheko.
That's
Biheko in
okay.
Ghana. And it was, I will tell you something interesting that happened in Biheko, which has helped to shape the course of my career.
Of course.
Yes. And then from there, I went to the University of Cape Coast.
Okay.
Yes, where I got my first degree in IT.
In IT?
Yes.
It was called Information Technology?
Yes.
That's the name
yes.
of it. Okay,
yes.
all right.
Bachelor of Science,
BSc
Information
IT.
Technology. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there, I got a business degree. I attended the University of Central Lancashire in Preston, and then I got my MBA over there, and then I've been working in marketing.
Was it a general MBA?
Yes, it was a general MBA
okay.
then, yeah.
Okay.
And then I've been working in marketing since then, and by the grace of God, my career has been blessed.
What happened in Biheko? Is it a mixed school or a boys' school?
No, it's a Catholic boys' school.
Catholic
typical
boys' school. Okay.
Yes. So I arrived in Biheko. Is it Form 1s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were taking us around. They will show you the buildings. They say, oh, so this is your chemistry lab, this is your dormitory, this. But I was very uninterested. I was just going through the motions until we got to one particular building.
Okay.
It was a story building. The ground floor had classrooms, and then we climbed, a flight of stairs and got to the first floor.
Indeed.
Then they opened the door, and I got into a room. Boss, what I saw in that room.
Wow.
They had 2 rows like this of computers.
Correct.
About 20 on the left, another 20 on the right.
Correct.
They were all running Windows 98 back then. That tells you how, and the room was cold. Yes. You could hear the system units, the fans were, and when I stood there, something moved in my spirit. I felt like, wow, I'd never seen computers like that before.
Absolutely.
And so when I saw that, I was moved. And that moment was one of the defining moments of my career because it spiked an interest in me in technology, and a lot of things have happened since then.
School was senior secondary? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there you went to?
The University of